May I come in?
Yeah, Kanika, please come.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Kanika, please give a very brief introduction about yourself.
So, I'm Kanika Goyal. I come from Kaithal, Haryana. I've done my schooling from OSDV Public School, Kaithal. And then I did my graduation in political science from Lady Shri Ram College for Women, Delhi University. Since then, I have been preparing for civil services and I aspire to be an IAS officer one day, sir.
So, Kanika, you are from Haryana.
Yes, sir.
Now, Haryana had launched a scheme called Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao.
Yes.
So, to what extent have Haryana been able to, save the girls and to educate the girls? Can you just throw some light on the progress on the scheme?
Yes, sir. With the help of the scheme, to put in figures, Haryana has been able to achieve a sex ratio that was down to 879 in 2011, as up as 924 right now. In terms of education, which is handled by the Ministry of Education, which works in the scheme, the enrollment ratio has increased. Also in the higher secondary or the higher education level, we are targeting about 50% girls and we are working for the same as well. For the health sector, we have improved and the Anemia Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, Haryana also received an award for the same in 2020, has worked well and we have provided Sabla care, proper nutrition to the girls under the program. And with stringent policies under the PCP NDT Act, Haryana has ensured that any such female feticide is not getting in again and we adopt a zero tolerance policy to the same.
You have also done some work on child development program.
Yes, sir.
In college. So, what exactly did you do in this program?
So, it was an NGO named Child Development Program where I was involved in teaching students. Yes.
What is UNICEF?
UNICEF is the global body that works for children.
So, have you come across any such program of UNICEF for children in India or in Haryana in particular?
So, I have not come.
They are working with Haryana government. Are you aware of this?
So, I'm not.
Not really. Doesn't matter.
Sorry.
So, your political science is your subject.
Yes.
Now, India is the largest democracy.
Yes.
But are we also a vibrant democracy?
Yes, sir.
You think that we have achieved all the virtues of democracy or characteristics in full, or you think something needs to be done?
There is always a potential to achieve, sir. And as our preamble identifies, we have to continuously work to ensure social, economic and political justice in form of democracy.
So, can you identify some specific areas where we need to strengthen democracy?
Yes, sir. The areas to strengthen from my side, as per my understanding, sir. Number one, economic democracy, where the regional inequalities which have persisted, also the inequalities which have emerged in case of, in gender accessibility, female labor workforce participation, there we need improvement. In terms of social democracy, though with strict laws in place, we have made a strong progress. We need to ensure that the ills of
Kanika, lot is being discussed both in the courts. Supreme Court is also taking up a lot of matters. Even opposition parties are raising the freedom of speech,
yes,
even media, and the hatred, among communities. Do you think these two things are making our democracy deteriorate and is not rendering into a vibrant democracy? What do you say?
Hate speech, any prevalence of it affects the democratic structure of a nation. It has to be curbed with a zero tolerance policy, as our Supreme Court has also listed out. For freedom of speech and expression, sir, in my view, Article 19 guarantees us freedom of speech and expression and it adds to the vibrancy.
Let's talk of any specific case of media one in which Supreme Court has mentioned that you cannot stop the freedom of speech. Are you aware of this?
Yes, sir.
So, what have you to say?
So
On what grounds did the Supreme Court say that, revive the license back again?
So as per my limited understanding of the case that came up 2 days back, the Supreme Court said that the sealed cover should not be promoted. Second, for revival of license, it held that the media is the fourth pillar of democracy and it should have right unless it's affecting the public morality, public order and sovereignty and territorial integrity of the nation. But I think I would have to read
my
upon
last
the
question.
judgment.
You have also taken up international relations.
Yes.
So Finland has joined NATO.
Yes.
NATO had sent some feelers to India also a week ago that we can cooperate with you better if you wish. What should be India's stand?
So India's stand remains embedded in its policy of strategic autonomy. In the changing flux, when NATO has a prominent role to play, India can surely collaborate with NATO, but not to enter in an alliance, as that affects our policy of strategic autonomy and the policy of multi-alignment and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which we have been following. For Finland, I think this comes as an important development that India needs to take cue of in its foreign policies.
Thank you, Kanika. I pass on to a member.
Thank you, sir.
So, Kanika, you have done from LSR.
Yes, sir.
Now, is there any other name for LSR? Lady Sriram? True name?
Srimati Phulan Devi was Lady Shriram, sir.
And which year the college was established?
It was established in 1956 in the lanes of Daryaganj.
So, why we say lady? We simply say Srimati or something?
If I had the choice, I would have named it so. But it was Lala Sriram who took cue of the prevalence of Lady Irwin, Lady Harding college.
It's quite okay. He himself had title of Sir.
Yes.
So, Sir's wife is lady. Yes, I know. Okay. Uniform Civil Code.
Yes.
Now, this is one thing which is attracting everybody's attention. So, if we have to implement Uniform Civil Code, what are the different things which will be done inside it? Code will consist of what items?
The Uniform Civil Code has to target on providing uniform procedure provisions for marriage, adoption, divorce and inheritance. Second, the code should also have specific provisions where we are taking the community interests into account so that we can make a gradual transition to Uniform Civil Code. And so this is what
Where do you see the bottlenecks?
The major bottlenecks is the prevalence of the personal codes and getting the communities in confidence. Also to ensure that the code that comes out to be is more inclusive and there is no majoritarian tendency which is reflected into it. And thirdly, sir, it's important that it is progressive in its outlook, inclusive, and a more gender cohesive society is established through our Uniform Civil Code, sir.
Okay. This women empowerment can be brought through many items,
Yes.
like education, then social awareness,
Yes.
legislations. So, out of that, you will tell me what are the different legislations which are leading to women empowerment.
Yes, sir. Few of the legislations which I can recall right now, sir. First is the Domestic Violence Act, which came up in 2005. Second is the Prevention of the POSH Act that came up in 2013. So the Maternity Benefit Act, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act.
How do you hold this MTP as women empowerment?
So it provides women a right of bodily integrity and autonomy. And she has the right to choose her choice and empowers her to choose for her own body and the way she'd like to set her life up.
General view, including that of the courts, are that the Domestic Violence Act is actually detrimental to continuity of the family life. Many families are broken because of resorting to domestic violence. What do you say?
So in my view, it's an important act. Though I'd like to take and read about the things which have been raised. Because even the NFSS survey that was done recently pointed out that domestic violence rose and it was as high as 48% in the country. And we need to take stringent steps against it to ensure that a woman has power over herself and we don't remain in the patriarchal mindset and progress to women-led developments.
What about 74th Constitutional Amendment?
This was an important.
Tell me which area it covers.
It covers the provision of for women, sir, or on a
Whatever 74th Constitutional Amendment.
74th.
What does it do?
It does the local self-government institutions in the municipalities and the municipal bodies at the in the urban areas.
What is the objective of this 74th Amendment?
It brings democratic decentralization, sir, upholds the principle of subsidiarity, and strengthen the grassroots.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So, Kanika, any other example of decentralization?
So the GST, that is cooperative federalism, sir.
Because after Panchayati Raj, has there been any other decentralization as part of democracy?
So I'm unable to recall, but the alternative devolution mechanism, which came up with the Finance Commission, that also reflected like providing more autonomy to the state governments over their finances.
All right. Kanika, tell me, have you been to a rural area?
Less a time, sir, but I have been to my ancestral village, which is located in Kethel itself.
So, tell me the problems that you have seen in a rural area, wherever you have gone.
So, firstly, there is connectivity issues, and we need to improve upon that. Second, the social structure is embedded in caste, and still the patriarchal mindset is prevalent. And thirdly, we need to ensure more skills to the youth and more a greater horizon for them, so that they can access the potential of India in this Amrit Kaal.
So, Kanika, if you are posted in a district, what will you do to eliminate or minimize caste discrimination?
So, as a district, if I am posted in a district, I'll ensure that we don't allow any such caste discrimination, as the government, our constitution itself, through the abolishes untouchability, and there should not be any discrimination. The state should not be discriminating between people on the basis of religion, race, caste. So nothing should be prevalent from the district headquarters or the government functionaries. Second, to eliminate on the ground level, we need to bring in the caste leaders in account, and to ensure that they adopt a positive outlook and they work themselves to eliminate caste, which and thirdly, I think so the youth should be targeted because it is the forebearer of the future, and with the youth we can ensure that we can attack this.
But now, talking of youth, present day youth in urban cities is moving or inclined towards urban Naxalism. So, what do you understand by this term urban Naxals, and how can we stop urban Naxals?
So, the urban Naxalism term is used to denote the prevalence of a sedentary kind of view that people have developed, and are constantly on a criticism to government policies, also supporting the groups which are engaged in extremist or the insurgent activities. And did you ask me about how should we tackle urban Naxals? So I think we need to develop a positive outlook among the youth, which is getting into this more penetration of the narrative from the governmental side, that this is not the way we are working. Rather, we all are working to bring India to development in this Amrit Kaal. And thirdly, sir, to ensure that wherever these things are coming from, utilizing the digital mechanism, data is utilized, and people are not accessing such kind of information which may.
Last question I want to ask you is your views on sedition law. Should we do away with sedition law?
So, in my view, sedition law, as the court has added a stay to the law, we can utilize other provisions to curb these activities as the UAPA Act and all. The dissent to the government should be promoted, but not the dissent should be there because it adds to the vibrancy of the democracy. If it is against the public order law and is affecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity, then it can be tackled through different laws.
Okay, thank you.
Kanika,
Yes.
you were talking a little while back about strategic autonomy.
Yes.
Many people think that the visit of the French president to China, they infer it as a statement by France as a strategic autonomy with regards to this Russian-Ukraine conflict, vis-a-vis their relationship with USA, France's relationship with USA. People say that the France tries to get wean out or wean away from America's influence, sort of thing. Do you think that this visit is like that? That French president visit to China, the France want to exhibit a power, regional power sort of thing, that okay, America, we don't care about you, we will talk to China as per our own terms, something like that, what India is doing. Do you think that?
So, in my view, the visit of the French president highlights the way Europe would like to act more autonomously, but would also like to collaborate with all actors on ground. So, I will not say that it is weaning out away from the US, but taking the European problems into account. And that's the perspective that Mr. Emmanuel Macron is putting forth, that Europe need to understand its own problems and converge with the global powers so as to ensure that the Russia-Ukraine war is not affecting its economy, is not affecting the political structure, and it's not bringing the whole Europe down and adding to the diversions in the European spheres.
Despite so much Western thing in favor of Ukraine and all that, why these European countries they want to have a sort of good relationship, not good, but they don't want to annoy Russia. What could be the important reasons? They don't want, it seems that the European countries, they don't want to annoy Russia much. Why?
So, in my view, the European countries don't want to annoy Russia. Firstly, because of their dependence on the oil and gas imports. Second, if they annoy Russia, then that would again take them back to the World War II scenarios, and which the Europe don't want to get into. Thirdly, militarization of Europe is something that the European countries, which are developed in their being, don't see. And also, fourthly, the European countries had been seeing the divisions on the account of China. And they see that Russia can emerge as something that can help them, and if the Russian is weakened further, then Chinese power would be more in the sphere there,
Okay,
and they can tackle it.
Got it.
Yes.
Kanika, if, I mean, hypothetically, the question is that if, of course, this was a talk a few years back, if we have a confederation type of thing between Pakistan, India and Bangladesh, a loose confederation like European Union,
Yes.
what do you think? Will it be a good idea? Will it be advantageous to India?
If India gets out of the South Asian dilemma and is not contained in South Asia, that would be advantageous to India, sir. But to work for that confederation, we all have to come together. Pakistan has to leave its policy of terrorism and always calling out India on Kashmir. Then we can develop SAARC only and stop it being as a jammed vehicle and make it a running vehicle, sir.
Kanika, what is the stated policy of India towards Palestine cause or Palestine issue? What is our policy?
So the Indian policy from the beginning has been a two-state solution for the Palestinian issue. And now it supports that both the sides should come together on the diplomatic table and resolve the issue between themselves.
Now, my last question is about Al-Aqsa Mosque. Why this mosque is important both for Jews and Muslims?
So I have a limited understanding on it, but there is a historical relevance where the place that the Al-Aqsa is located is important to the Jews, and then it's the second or the third major.
Anyway,
mosque.
it was in news a few days back.
Yes, sir.
Why?
There have been tensions, and the Israeli military has further. So there was the personnels were there, and there were attacks in the Al-Aqsa mosques, as per my limited understanding.
Okay. Thank you, Kanika.
Thank you.
Kanika, you have studied, you have graduated from one of the most prestigious colleges in the country. It has ranked first, second in arts stream. So how it has shaped you as a person? It has shaped your thought process, which you think would make you a good administrator.
Yes, sir. So LSR is based on a philosophy of Sa Vidya Ya Mukte, that knowledge is only that liberates you, and it has shaped me to be a lifelong learner. Second, sir, it has made me an empowered woman where I can stand for myself. And thirdly, sir, it has broadened a perspective where I encountered diversity and different views, could meet more people, and added to my own vibrancies.
Very good. Now, we just talked about this 74th Amendment,
Yes, sir.
which was a historical, I think, initiative for democratic decentralization.
Yes, sir.
And at the same time, it was also a very, very important decision for women empowerment,
Yes.
because the 33% reservation
Yes.
was kept for both in municipality as well as by 73rd Amendment in Panchayati Raj institutions. So that, I think now we are we have completed 3 decades in the new regime of the 3-tier of government.
Yes.
So, and there are reports that women have been empowered to a great extent by these women. So, going by the same logic, do you think that we can have reservation for women in civil services? What is your view on this?
So in my view, women have been constantly, as the UPSC itself states, that it looks forward for empowerment of women in its document that it releases, and have been participating in the exam as with much more enthusiasm as the male participants also do. So I don't look for reservation for women in civil services, rather more incentivization, taking education to the ground, providing them with adequate skills if they want to have, or the state governments can have policies. If somebody would like to get into civil services, then can provide support. Even many state governments are providing that. Haryana government has collaborated with some institutes and is providing support to women. So these kind of initiatives can be there.
Now, this Rakhi Gadi is an important
Yes.
site of Indus Valley civilization. Can you tell me some important features of this Rakhi Gadi?
So Rakhi Gadi is the largest Indus Valley civilization site which have been found till date. It is located on the banks of river. So it is on the banks of river Saraswati and the confluence of river Indus as well. Important findings, important remains have been found from all through the ages of the Harappan civilization. So the early Harappan period, the middle Harappan, and the late Harappan period. This is what I can recall.
So why this is such an important place, Rakhi Gadi? Why there is no attempt by Haryana government to promote this site as a tourist destination? Or there are, I'm not sure. Can you tell if Haryana government has taken any initiative to promote it as a grand tourist destination?
Yes, so the Haryana government has taken initiative. Firstly, it has collaborated with ASI to secure the site, and second, now it is building a world-class museum at Rakhi Gadi. Yes, sir.
That's right. Now, you were also involved in some complaint redressal mechanism in your college.
Yes,
right. So, tell me, how would you, as a district magistrate, district collector, what kind of mechanism you will have for complaint redressal of the people of your district?
Yes, sir.
And any use of technology also you
Yes.
would resort to?
So, as you said, I'll utilize technology so that they can easily register complaints through an app, through a government unified portal. Second, different departments should be integrated on the portal itself so that they can respond to the complaints there. proper timelines should be formulated for the departments to respond on the grievance of the people. And then if there is a specific guideline that should be forwarded to the district administration, then that should also be done from the departmental side. And if the grievances are not getting resolved, there should be a second tier, or it should be coming to the district administration so that proper action can be taken against the officials who are not taking.
Now, my last question, Kanika, NSS volunteer.
Yes.
You volunteer for some child development program.
Yes.
So, what was there in that program? What was your role as a team leader?
So I was involved as a volunteer.
Volunteer, okay.
Yes, sir. So I was teaching slum students, underprivileged students in the local village of Zamrudpur near LSR.
Okay, right. So, what is the motto of NSS?
It is not me, but you, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you, Kanika. Over to Chairman, sir.
So,
Thank
Kanika, anything from your DAF which we may not have covered during the interview? If yes, then please let us know. I can ask the last question.
So from my side, it has been covered.
It has been covered? All right. So, thank you, Kanika. We close our interview. You
Thank
may proceed to the waiting room for a while. We'll call you again.
Thank
Please sit down.
Thanks.
Okay, so Kanika, before we give our feedback and how to improve further, we like to hear you, how you have done today, according to you.
According to me, I should have done better because my interview is on 19th and it's not even a week away. I should not have fumbled, especially with sir, as I did, and should have been more focused.
Anything in particular area where you thought that you haven't done so well, or is a weaker area, so that we can discuss more on that? It's only knowledge based. You fumbled because you could not retrieve the answer, and then you were not sure and wanted validation. What kind of?
So I think I somehow felt a little lower on confidence a bit. In the midst of the interview, I felt like I should be smiling more and my confidence is dropping. But then I could not, because I had to always also think along with that. And that brought my confidence a little down. And then, but then I managed to gain it back.
Yeah, you did gain very well towards the the last, say, two members. But initially, you were on a very weak wicket. Initially, you started with. So we did not find anything on that account which you are mentioning in terms of losing confidence or not smiling. I think you're very good conversant. You are very well conversant, and we did not feel the kind of image that you have built for yourself. But the only thing is that your knowledge is not focused.
I'll work on that.
You have to, like, if I recall my questions, you were going around the subject but not coming to the point. And I can mention this in case of and you were giving background. You have to be very to the point.
Sure, sir.
Right? Even in the democracy thing, you talking of the background, and I don't know, Article 19 you started about the rights and all. There was no need. I knew that you were trying to elongate the answer because you must be wanting to get some ideas in the meantime. So maybe you did not listen to the question properly, and so you immediately started replying. Now that is something, Kanika, which you should develop.
Sure.
And it is not a difficult. Within 7 days, you don't need any time for that. So the best thing would be, in order to to avoid such situations, is that you give a pause,
Sure.
4-5 seconds. Even if you know the thing, you make it as a habit, and then you speak. You will be able to frame your answers better. So maybe you will not skirt around the issue and not come to the point. To the point will happen, you see, when you immediately start, you always have a tendency to start, yes sir, democracy in India has seen lots of ups and downs, but today democracy, there is no need. Now those 5-6 seconds which you have spent in either repeating the question or maybe trying to, repeat something which is not required, you can spend in thinking
Sure.
and start immediately with the main point. So that is the only thing we found in you, that shallowness of knowledge, in some cases. Later on international relations, you did very well. Some of the subjects you were very fluent. But immediately when the question came to you, you should give a pause,
Sure.
think about it. Updating of knowledge and filling knowledge gaps is one aspect.
Sure.
But even if you knew something, you may go on the wrong track.
Yes.
That may have happened in my case
Yes.
also. So please keep that in mind. Okay.
Yeah. So, Kanika, you have a smiling disposition, maintain that, but you were perhaps suggesting for over smiling. Don't do that. You have enough of that. So, let it remain that way only. Okay, this is one. Second, as has been suggested, that take a pause.
Sure.
What will happen? When you take a pause, your answer will be constructed in your mind. Sentence will be ready and the entire sentence will come out in one go. As of now, what is happening, even a single sentence is not coming out. There are gaps in the sentence. And the gap is filled up by awkward things like like that. So, the delivery is not impressive because of that thing. So, this is one reason that delivery is not impressive. It has to be impressive. It can be made impressive. Just keep in mind that I have to first compose my answer, then I will give the answer. Of course, the depth is required, and always go for the purport of the question. For example, when we had talked about the empowerment was the issue, and different methodology of empowerments were in question. So I also I suggested 74th Constitution Amendment as a measure of women empowerment.
Yes, sir.
But certainly you spoke about the header of the title. You gave the title of the title was not important. Women empowerment was important.
Yes.
So had you listened to the question carefully or been in the picture, you would have said, sir, not less than 33% of the seats would be reserved for women.
Yes.
That's a measure of women empowerment through 74th Constitutional Amendment. So that is how you will keep yourself in context.
Yes.
Then you will get better marks than that. Otherwise, so many plus points you have. Maintain all those plus points, you will do well. Okay? Thank you.
Kanika, I found you to be very good communicator. You were able to express yourself fully. You were confident. Nowhere I saw any amount of doubt or confusion in your mind. Most of the issues you addressed very well.
Thanks.
All right. On issue of decentralization, you can have a relook on decentralization besides Amendment 73 and 74.
Yes, sir.
Then you will come across some more ideas which have actually happened.
Yes. Thanks.
All right. Then urban Naxals was all right. Sedition laws somewhere, I was not very sure. You were not able to take a stand.
Yes,
To-
sir.
You got mixed up,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. That did happen with me. I also felt like the judgment that is there. I again need to read on that.
So
and
I
prepare
think
that.
firm up your views and
Yes,
just
sir.
be bold. Whatever stand you have taken.
Thanks.
Wish you all the best.
Kanika, you are a very good candidate. You have answered on international affairs. You have answered very well, analyzed very well. Only I suggest that little bit you read about this recent problems in Al-Aqsa Mosque there in
Yes.
Israel and these Middle East issues. So, because your optional is PSIR, so you may be asked questions on those things, Although you've done very good, you've done very, very well on international affairs. So, you will do well. All the best.
I think same here, Kanika, nothing more to add. I'm sure you will do very well. All the best.
Thanks.
Kanika, any questions you have from us?
How did I score in this?
67% we have given you.
67 is 180. 184.
So is this your first UPSC interview?
It's my second interview.
Second. How much you got last time?
I got 160, sir.
160.
Yes.
This was last year?
The last time.
The last year. No, you were much better than 160 level. Today you have.
I'll improve myself, sir.
Yes, you must not just touch 70, go beyond 70. You have the personality, you can communicate, but you need some good solid,
So was I missing completely the substance of the question in?
in my case, partly yes. But that was probably also because, you were in a hurry to answer. If you had thought over, because you had that mind to construct and frame the answers, right? You have that ability, and a person who can communicate well can always frame a very good answer. And in case you find that you are going astray or you're not very well or very sure about it, then better would be, sir, I'm sorry, I won't be able to, I don't recall, whatever. In case you find that things are beyond.
Yes.
So that is one, and but you only few questions. Idea of telling you all this is, Kanika, that you deserve much more than what your
Yes.
performance was. That is the basic point. So we feel bad when such a bright person, he just because of little knowledge gap is not able to do well. That is the only point.
Thanks.
So you are almost ready, Kanika, for your interview. Just brush up your DAF subjects first. Brush up Haryana, brush up your pol science, brush up and look into the recent things which have happened.
Yes.
And form a view also.
Yes.
Don't just leave it to knowledge. Okay, I have read this. Supreme Court had said such and such thing, all right. You must form a view also.
Yes.
Write it down. So that, the moment they ask you views, you are already prepared.
Yes, sir.
Giving justifications also.
Yes.
All right.
200 marks should not be very difficult for you.
Yeah, that is achievable for you.
I'll surely make it, sir.